Ever since Animal Hospital's release, everyone always thought Dr. Harlow was the main villain. But what if he was actually innocent? To start, we need to understand why the hospital even exists. The hospital is under the Animal Corporation, basically what runs everything in the city. The schools, hospitals, they own every facility here, including the hospital you're working at. We know that Dr. Harlow has more knowledge about the Animal Corporation and how suspicious he looks with that damn suitcase, but we'll get to him later. As you play the game, you start noticing a few patients that don't exactly look like patients. Some of these patients are actually anomalies trying to eat you and other patients. And this is the part where you start being suspicious about whatever's behind this hospital. This is also when you start to notice the suspicious acts of the people working here. One of them being Ron from accounting. Ron is an NPC that I'm assuming works as an accountant that also carries a suspicious-looking suitcase similar to Dr. Harlow's, implying that he might be associated with the Animal Corporation. He tells you a bit about the hospital in his dialogues, which implies he might have some knowledge about whatever's going on in this hospital. And although he's one of the more hated characters for being quote-unquote suspicious, I believe is actually one of the more innocent NPCs here. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite NPC, Ratthew. Ratthew is one of the more unique NPCs here. He gives us a lot of lore. He's always on the move, as said by Dr. Harlow, and has probably gathered a fair amount of information from the hospital. He most definitely knows what the hospital is up to, not to mention one of the hospital's victims being Ratina, aka the Stalker, his literal sister. After finishing his interactions, you also get a key to the safe behind a poster. Opening, it reveals a photo of Ratina and a note saying that the experiment was successful, and that the shadow now sees everything. And then there's Barney. There really isn't a lot to say about him aside from the fact that he really likes coffee, is a serial killer, and also the fact that he's secretly a genius. We've heard Dr. Harlow once say in his dialogues that Barney once dropped a copy of Advanced Quantum Mechanics for Geniuses. Safe to say he knows more than what he shows. Then there's Liz, an ex-news reporter on the Animal Corporation news station who was fired after reporting on the anomaly infection that the corporation dismissed as quote-unquote fake news. Upon first interaction, you will be given a UV camera and be told to use it on specific patients. As you continue her quest, each picture starts becoming weirder and weirder until you get to the last picture and suddenly, the person you've taken a picture of becomes an anomaly. You can see in the designs here where they start to look more and more infected each photo. Then, Sam, an NPC you meet after ending the Slimebird shift. He doesn't give us much lore aside from the fact that the Animal Corporation loves firing people from their jobs. It is a possibility that Sam was fired for the same reason as Liz, as both of them are related to slimes, but nothing is confirmed about why he was fired. And lastly, Dr. Harlow, basically the star of the show. He appears in the first few shifts for guidance, ambulances, and also has a few dialogues with the hazmat team. But he also has specific dialogues regarding some of the lore in the game, including the corporation. So let's get to his dialogues. When you give Dr. Harlow a cup of mint tea that you can buy from the shop, you unlock special dialogues from him. I'm not going to cover every single dialogue, so let's focus on the most important one. He'll tell you his backstory about how the Animal Corporation saved him, or what was left of him anyway. Furthermore, he tells you that some sacrifices had to be made working here. Maybe talking about Ratina. But the most interesting part is when he tells you that he might be one of those sacrifices. We've seen it already with Ratina being turned into the Stalker. We have proof of them being the same person, as when you take the photo of Ratina to the Stalker when she is in the check-in window, the photo burns. And keep in mind, Ratina used to actually work for the corporation. This also implies the neglect this corporation has for their workers. Yet, Dr. Harlow also tells us that all of this would end and that there wouldn't be any more anomalies. No more patients. There is also something worth mentioning here, and that is one type of quote-unquote anomaly named troubled patients. If you let these patients in, they'll start a death ritual in the room they're assigned to. You can stop the ritual by putting out all of the candles. A way to tell apart a troubled patient from a skinwalker is looking at their eyes. If they have hollowed eyes, they might just be troubled unless there are other odd things telling you otherwise. The reason I'm telling you this is because there's another type of anomaly that has hollowed eyes, being the headbanger. These guys only appear once per run and will bang their head against the side of the check-in window. Give them coffee and they won't take away any sanity from you. This implies that these headbangers simply lost their sanity. And when looking at one of the game's thumbnails, Dr. Harlow actually does have hollowed-out eyes with small white pupils similar to Barney. Considering the fact Barney is a serial killer, it's safe to assume Dr. Harlow has lost sanity before. But there's one last debate we have: the posters on the wall. These posters look meaningless at first, but when you're at low sanity, the posters actually change. One of them being Dr. Harlow with red eyes and what seems to be blood all over him. We've all thought these posters were telling the truth about Dr. Harlow, and how he's actually evil all along. So is that it? Was everything that I've said just incorrect? No. In order to actually see these posters change, you need to lose a certain amount of sanity. When you lose your sanity, you can't think straight or rationalize anything. Our character had always assumed Dr. Harlow was evil to the point that they actually see it, even though there's nothing proving that he had everything in his hands. The corporation puts him at every risk and made him take the accountability. He continues being labeled guilty because he's the closest we have to the person behind all of this, while not being able to justify himself just because the animal corporation supposedly saved him, and that is the framing theory. So, I guess that's it. Dr. Harlow was never behind these experiments. He's just like Rat Tina, just a bit more valuable for them to keep longer. I had to squeeze this in, but in one of Harlow's dialogues in the new update, he actually says himself that Rathew has a good heart, further proving my point that he isn't actually evil. So what's gonna happen? Well, we don't know yet, but I'm still excited to see how much lore we'll be getting in future updates. I guess that's it. Bye.